Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing extremely very well. And today we'll start commercial banking. In commercial banking, today we'll discuss introduction of commercial bank, then definition of commercial bank, types of commercial banks, functions of commercial banks, then nationalization of commercial banks. These topics we'll discuss throughout this session. Now here, before starting the session, I would like to tell you some questions like, what is a commercial bank, or what do you understand by commercial bank? Then what are the different types of commercial bank? Then discuss the functions of commercial banks. Then write short note on nationalization of commercial bank. So like this, questions will address. Question answer will try to get from this session. Now we'll start with the introduction of commercial bank. In the introduction of commercial bank, we can say, like in most countries, the commercial banks are of outstanding importance owing to the valuable service that they provide to the community. Means commercial banks have a bigger importance and they are giving valuable service to the society. The word bank is derived from the German word BANKCO, which means joint fund. The phrase commercial bank is misnomer, means the term commercial bank it is not being under practice. It is not in used anywhere. So it is a misnomer, means it's wrong. If we say commercial bank, it's something like wrong things we are saying. Now, how it is that, in some countries, like, commercial bank are known by different names, like they are called with different names in different countries. In England, they are known as joint stock bank. In the US, they are known as member banks. In India, they are known as scheduled bank. Okay, so commercial bank, we can say in a nutshell, that provides very valuable service to the society, and the word bank came from the German word BANKCO, and uses of the term commercial bank is very less, or it is a wrong term which is not under practice. Nowhere in the world a bank by name of commercial bank exists. Okay, and in different countries, commercial bank are known by different names. Now, next, we'll go to the definition of commercial bank. Now, a commercial bank is a type of financial institution that accepts deposits, offers checking accounts, service, makes various loans, and offers basic financial products like certificates of deposit and savings account to individuals and small businesses. Okay, so if we go through the definition of the commercial bank is basically a financial institution which basically accepts deposits and offer checking account service, then making various loans, and offers basic financial like certificate of deposit, and savings account to individual, current account to businessmen. Okay, so this is basically the core concept of the commercial bank. Next, we'll move to the types of commercial bank. In the types of commercial bank, there are basically three types of commercial bank: public sector bank, private sector bank, and foreign banks. Now, like for example, public sector banks For instance, like State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, Union Bank of India, Bank of India. These are public sector banks. And example of the private sector banks are like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, IDBI Bank, Kotak Securities Bank, Yes Bank. These are private sector banks. Then if you talk about the foreign banks examples are like Standard Chartered Bank, then HSBC Bank, ABN AMRO Bank, then these are examples of the foreign banks. So these are three categories of the commercial bank. Next, we'll discuss the function of commercial bank in detail. Okay, now in the function of commercial bank, there are basically broadly two types of function of commercial bank. Primary function of commercial banks and secondary functions of commercial bank. What I said, I am repeating. In the functions of commercial bank, there are two types of functions. Broadly, we can say these are primary functions of commercial bank and secondary functions of commercial banks. Now, first we'll discuss the primary functions of the commercial bank. In the primary functions, first we'll discuss, in primary accepting deposits, and second types is advancing loans. Okay, these are the two types of primary functions commercial bank performs. Now, in the accepting deposit also, there are three types. Among these three types, first is savings deposits. The commercial bank accepts small deposits from household or from persons in order to encourage saving in the economy. Like you have heard about the savings account. So savings account is basically also known as saving deposit, which one function commercial bank performs. Then second is fixed or time deposit. Fixed or time deposit, these are both same. We can say fixed deposits or we can say time deposit. Now you have heard about the fixed deposit also. This is basically for a particular period of time. For particular period of time, like the bank accept deposit for a fixed time and carries a higher rate of interest as compared to savings deposit. Now this may be for 5 years, like it will be period based fixed deposit, and bank give a higher interest on the fixed deposit or time deposit. Then current deposit. Current deposits are those, actually these accounts do not offer any interest. Further, most current accounts offers overdrafts up to a pre-specified limit. Therefore, undertakes the obligations of paying all tax against the deposits subject to the availability of sufficient fund in the account. Okay, see, current account, you have heard about the name of current account. Current account is basically related to the current deposits. And there, in current accounts, offers are available of overdraft up to a pre-specified limits. So this is, within the primary functions of the commercial banks, and this is comes under one category. This is coming under the accepting deposit category. Okay, these are savings deposit, fixed and time deposit, and current deposit. Next, we will discuss advancing loans. Advancing loans is another category which, as a primary function, commercial bank performs. Now, in the advancing loan, first is the overdraft facility. Overdraft overdraft facility refers to a facility in which a customer is allowed to overdraw his current account up to an agreed limit. This facility is generally given to respectable and reliable customers for a short period. Customers have to pay interest to the bank on the amount overdrawn by them. This is basically the overdraft facility as a advancing loan category, and it comes under the primary functions of commercial bank. Then next, this is also within the advancing loan category, discounting bill of exchange. Discounting bills of exchange refers to a facility in which holder of a bill of exchange can get the bill discounted with bank before the maturity. After deducting the commission, bank pays the balance to the holder. On maturity, banks get its payment from the party which had accepted the bill. This is basically the discounting bill of exchange. Now here, holder of a bill of exchange can get the bill discount with bank before the maturity. After deducting the commission, bank pays the balance to the holder, and on maturity, bank gets its payment from the party which had accepted the bill. Okay, now we'll go to the cash credit. Cash credit is another primary function of the commercial bank which comes into the category of advancing loan. Now in the cash credit category, what happens? The borrower or the cash credit account holder is given a loan in this cash and in the cash, and it is credited in his account. The borrower can draw money as per his or her needs. This is known as cash credit system because deposit of cash converted into deposit of credits. Like bank will credit the money into the customer account, and customer can withdraw the cash as per their needs, and that will be converted into the credit, and this is known as cash credit. This cash credit is very essential to run the business. Like in a business, there is a term called working capital management. Okay, this is basically the money required to run the business. Then next, we'll talk about the secondary function of commercial bank. In the secondary function of commercial bank, there are two types of service or functions commercial bank basically performs. First is general utility service, and second is agency functions or agency services. Now in the general utility services, there are three types of service a bank provides. First is economization of metallic coins and paper notes. Now bank, by issuing the letter of credit, checks, drafts, traveler checks, etc., economize the legal tender of money. Okay, like bank issues coins, then paper notes. Okay, so bank issues letter of credit, checks, drafts, traveler checks, etc., and economize the legal tender money. Okay, then another service bank provides transfer of funds. Now in the transfer of funds, like bank transfer, like banks very easily and quickly transfer funds from one place to another place through mail transfer, through NEFT, and there are other mode of transfer are there. So So transfer of funds is another basic and secondary function of the commercial banks. Then lockers and safety custody. Lockers and safety custody is a prime service which almost every commercial banks provides. Under this, bank by maintaining lockers act as a custodian of customers of ornaments, jewelry, and other valuable documents such as pro notes, sales, deeds, etc. Okay, bank basically provide lockers to the customer so that customer can keep their valuable items or or things like ornaments, jewelry in the bank custody. Then another function bank performs, that is agency function. Now bank act as a agent, or bank provide service as a agent on behalf of the customer and render a good number of service such as paying rent, insurance premium, then collecting checks and drafts, etc. functions bank also performs, and these are basically comes under the agency function of the commercial banks. Now a commercial bank is better understood by studying its function mentioned or discussed now. For this reason, a bank is defined as a bank is what bank does. Finally, we can say a bank is what bank does. Okay, so with this we are completing the function of the commercial bank. Next we'll start the another topic, that is nationalization of commercial bank. Now nationalization of commercial bank is also another vital area. Now the commercialization, especially in India, nationalization of commercial bank have witnessed a very vast expansion during the Indian 5-year plans, and especially after nationalization of bank in India in the year of 1969. Now, nationalization of commercial bank basically happened in India since long back, and during the 5-year plan period. Earlier in India, there was 5-year plan. Okay, economy policy used to run through a 5-year plan. Then now this is being replaced by Niti Aayog. Okay, but since 1969 in India, nationalization of commercial banks happened, and since that time, revolution came in the banking sector. Now we'll understand the nationalization of commercial bank with the discussion of the objectives of the nationalization of commercial banks. Now here we'll discuss the objectives of nationalization of commercial banks, and through this we'll understand that why there is a need to nationalize the commercial bank. Now first objective was the expansion of the banking sector. There was a need to expand the banking sector. Now, the private sector banks were working with a profit motive, hence they were not interested in setting branches in rural areas or economically backward areas. Now, this is basically, one findings. Findings in the earlier period, was found, and based on that, government have decided to expand the banking sector in rural areas as well as in the economically backward areas. That's why we see, in different states, cooperative banks are there. Then in Tripura, like Tripura Gramin Bank, like this, small banks are giving service in rural areas. Then wider reach of bank credit. Wider reach bank credit. The private sector banks were willing to give loans only to large scale industries and big industrial house. Okay, and this is also one findings was found, and based on that there was a plan to expand the credit facility to the masses, and with that objective to spread the credit facility to almost every needy person, there was a expansion of the commercial banks, or nationalization was required. Okay, importance of the nationalization of commercial bank came into existence. Then next objective is diversification into social sector. Now there was a realization that the commercial bank need to diversify into the social sector. Now the private sector was not interested in investing in socially productive areas, as they are economically not much more profitable, but public works are essential for removal of poverty. Okay, like recently you will see that government of India have started account opening under the scheme of Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, so under the scheme, poor BPL category people also can open account, and they can get the banking service. So this is one example where we can understand the diversification need into the social sector, and this is basically the one objective. With this objective, nationalization of the commercial bank was executed. Then removal of poverty. Now to remove the poverty, India now also 70%, almost 70% people are staying in the rural areas. So India is a rural based economy, and now also people are living below poverty line, and for this government is bringing different scheme. Now when commercial bank was nationalized, that time also poverty used to exist, and there was a aim and objective to remove the poverty, and with this objective commercial banks were nationalized. The private sector was project oriented in its approach, which means that the loan are sanctioned on the basis of profitability of the project and not its utility to the society. So as it was found that private banks are profit oriented, they want to maximize the profit. So where they will get much more profit, they will invest there. So for this also commercial banks nationalization was essential. So these are the four main important objectives of the nationalization of commercial banks. Now this is basically the summary of the session. Now today in this session we have discussed about the commercial bank, how the bank what came into existence, then little bit detail about the commercial bank. Then we have discussed the concept of commercial bank, that is through definition of commercial bank. Then we have discussed types of commercial bank. In the types of commercial bank, we have discussed three types: public banks, private banks, and foreign banks. Foreign banks like Bank of America, I have mentioned some example there also. Then function of commercial bank, we have gone through in detail, and in the function of commercial bank, we have discussed broadly two functions: primary function of commercial bank and a secondary function of commercial bank. In the primary function, we have discussed, two broad categories: accepting deposits and advancing loans. In the accepting deposits, we have discussed deposits like a saving deposit, time or fixed deposit, then current deposit. And in the advancing loan, we have discussed overdraft facility, discounting bill of exchange, then cash credit. These three we have discussed in the advancing loan category. Then we have discussed secondary function of commercial banks. In secondary function of commercial bank, we have discussed general utility service and agency functions or agency service. In the general utility service, we have discussed the service like economization of metallic coins and paper notes. Then we have discussed transfer of funds, then locker and safety custody facility provided by banks. Then another category we have discussed, that is bank agency, bank working as an agent, or bank agency service, or bank agency function. Like bank gives their clients insurance premium, then house rent, then electricity bill, pipeline gas bill, water bill, etc. So this is basically the summary of the function of commercial bank. Then we have discussed nationalization of commercial bank. In nationalization of commercial bank, we have discussed introduction, then we have discussed the objectives of the nationalization of commercial banks, and in objectives we have discussed 4 important objectives of the nationalization of commercial bank. Okay, so this was about this session, and thank you everybody for participating in this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.